Students get so many toxic messages from education systems, and I'm speaking specifically about higher education, but I think this trickles out into all levels of education. Students, if you're watching this, humans, as you watch this, I want you to know it's okay to drop a ball. I want you to know it's okay not to give 100% of yourself in all the areas of life. It's okay to choose yourself over school. It's okay to choose your family over school. It's okay to choose other things over school. It's okay to not put school first. As an educator who places much more emphasis on my students' humanity than I do on their performance, I find that this is something that comes up a lot. Students feeling like they're not good enough. Like if they don't turn in the assignment on time, get an A on the test, get an A on the paper, if they don't get an A in the class, then that means that they're not doing well enough, that they're not trying, that they're lazy, the teacher isn't gonna like them, that they're not taking their coursework seriously, they're not taking their future seriously. Students get so much toxic messaging about how school should come first. In the realm of social work, common things I hear are students being told, well, I did what you did. I went through the practicum experience, which is an unpaid internship. I went through all this coursework. I had to balance that with my life. If I figured it out, so can you. First of all, that's not helpful at all. It's not a helpful thing or a kind thing for us to tell people who are going through hard times, well, buckle up because I went through a hard time too, so if I can do it, you can do it. There's a total disregard in that for how identity plays out and levels of oppression and privilege play out in who can self-sacrifice and who can let other things go in their life and actually focus on school and who can't. If the only thing I have in my life that I have to do is school, I don't have to worry about working, I don't have to worry about caring for children, I don't have to worry about caretaking for my other relatives or for a spouse or a partner. Great, I can give school all of my time and energy and focus. That is the case for such a narrow range of the possibility, and yet this is largely how higher education has been structured. It's based on this notion that students coming through can drop everything else and prioritize school. Not true, not the case, not in this day and age. Students also get a lot of direct pushback about school needing to come first. Again, these messages of, well, if you're not taking your coursework seriously, aka if you're not able to jump through all these hoops and perform in the ways that I, as a faculty member, expect you to perform, then that means that you're not taking your future seriously. That means that you don't care about your life path. That means that you don't care about this career path. Especially in the realm of social work inherently comes with a lot of expectations around self-sacrifice, and we teach ourselves this going through the educational process. Social work is hard. You're learning about trauma, you're learning about relationships, you're learning about attachment, you're learning about oppression. All of us walk through that as humans as well. So as we're learning about all these things, we're processing, we're integrating, we're applying it to our own lives. We're having trauma and trigger points touched on. People who are drawn to social work are also people who have usually been through some really tough life shit. We're not the same as other majors. We've had previous experiences that have probably put us in caregiving roles already, that have probably forced us to self-sacrifice in our life already. And so then we enter this field from a really caring, compassionate place of wanting to help people and wanting to go into this type of work so that I can help people as my career path, as my way of surviving in a capitalist society. And those same messages are reinforced to us through the educational experience of having to self-sacrifice, of putting our needs last. It doesn't matter what's going on with my mental health. It doesn't matter what's going on with my physical health. It matters, am I sitting in class? Am I listening? Am I taking notes? Am I doing my coursework? Social work coursework is not trauma-informed. The social work educational process is not trauma-informed. We're largely not meeting students where they're at. And when these added layers come into play of, well, if you're not doing your coursework, then you must not be taking this profession seriously enough. Now we're getting at people's compassion and caring for other people. Now we're saying you're not capable of helping other people. You don't want to help other people enough because you're not self-sacrificing so you can get your coursework done. It is a flawed message. It is a damaging message. It is a gaslighting message as well, because students are set up to fail. Something that really helped me start to see this when I was teaching in the classroom was I started opening conversations in my teaching spaces about how students were actually doing. And students were talking about the mental health challenges they were having and the emotional challenges they were having, and trying to balance the workload of school, an unpaid practicum, their life, their work, trying to survive in capitalism. They were all burnt out. They were all overwhelmed. And so I started dedicating specific class time to let's talk about it, let's process it. How are people getting through? What support do you need? What permission do you need? And a student once asked me, how is it possible for me to do all the things that I am being asked to do and still be a happy, healthy human? Like, how do I have a balanced life where I am a person, where I get to have relationships, where I get to have special interests, where I get to have downtime, time to rest, time to unplug, time to not be a social worker? She was asking me, how do I meet all of these demands? How do I meet all of the requirements? How can I excel in school and in work and in my relationships and at home and with myself? Like, is there something wrong with me that I can't do it? How do other people do it? And I told her, I don't think it's possible. I think we're set up to fail. The reality is we cannot give all of ourselves to every single area of life. Not possible. And I remember that moment because I remember the gratitude and relief the student had for me saying that. She thanked me deeply and sincerely. Nobody else had ever told her that, like, no, it's actually not possible to be a healthy, whole, well-rounded person while you're excelling in school and excelling in work and excelling at home and excelling in your relationship with yourself. There's these illusions that it's possible. There's these illusions that we have to be perfect, and that if we're not being perfect, then it's some sort of individual failing. I'm not trying hard enough. I'm not a good enough person. Maybe I'm not worthy of even being here. Maybe I'm not worthy of being a social worker or being in school at all. Nobody is perfect. Educators aren't perfect. We don't give 100% to every single thing we do. If we do, we're gonna burn out. I don't believe it's possible to do that without burning out. I know it wasn't possible for myself, and I did burn out. And that's why I care so much about talking about these issues, because it's what I needed when I was a student too. Because here's the thing, our energy is not infinite. Our energy is finite. And this is what I told that student too. Like, think of it like a pie. With a pie, we can divide it into slices, but we can't add more into the pie. We have to figure out how we're gonna cut those slices to allocate our energetic resources. If I have a bigger slice over here, I'm gonna have to have a smaller slice over here to balance that out. So if my areas of life are pieces of this pie, and I have one piece of the pie that is schoolwork and homework and coursework, and I have one piece of the pie that is the unpaid practicum that I'm also required to do for my school, and I have one piece of the pie that is the work job that I have to work in order to have money to survive, and I have another piece of the pie that is my family relationships and other relationships that I need to be able to maintain. And maybe I have another piece of the pie that's my most intimate family, the people that I live with, a partner, a spouse, children, other loved ones. I have a piece of the pie that's my friends. I have a piece of the pie that's just for me, that's for myself, that's for the things that fill my bucket, that's for time that I spend just in my own experience. Of course, when we're students, we're gonna have to pull from some of the other pieces of the pie. I'm gonna have less downtime when I'm a student because that's just what I'm signing up for. But I can't totally cancel out the piece of the pie that is myself either. I can't just not have relationships while I'm a student. I can't just not have needs as a human while I'm a student. I can't just not work while I'm a student. We have to make choices about where our energy is going within this pie. And because it's a pie, we cannot give 100% to any one of those slices. We can't give 100% at work, at home, and in school. I don't believe it's possible. And for students who are watching, I want to encourage you not to make school the thing you drop last. Most of the time, we drop ourselves first. And that's what we need the most, right? Like, our relationship with ourselves is more important than anything. If we're not having that need met, it's going to be hard for us to show up in the other areas of our life. The point of all of this is just, I want people to know, students, if you're watching this, humans, as you watch this, I want you to know it's okay to drop a ball. I want you to know it's okay not to give 100% of yourself in all those areas of life. It's okay to choose yourself over school. It's okay to choose your family over school. It's okay to choose other things over school. It's okay to not put school first. Your worth as a person, your worthiness of doing the work you love, your worthiness of the future you're envisioning, none of that is dependent upon your capacity and ability to perform in school. School is a means to an end. It gets you a piece of paper that opens doors. It hopefully gives you knowledge and skill sets and experiences that are gonna help you get there. School is not and should not be your whole life. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. Screw the A's, let it go, miss an assignment, skip something. You get to be imperfect because you are imperfect, because we're all imperfect. Society's been designed in a way to make us think as though we're failing when we can't achieve perfectly to these societal standards that have been set for us and prescribed for us since before we were even born. And it's all bullshit. We can look around and see that the world is not as it was promised to us to be. We can look around and see that our value system as a culture, as a country, is out of alignment. School should not come before yourself. So I want you to cut yourself a break. I want you to breathe. I want you to remind yourself that you are more than a grade, more than a homework assignment, more than a paper, more than a class, more than a semester, more than an educational program. There are times when school has to come last, and that's okay. You're not letting anyone down. You're not letting your teacher down. Trust me, they have dropped plenty of balls in their life, whether they own up to that or not. You're not lazy. You're not stupid. You're not worthless. You're doing your best. That's all you can do. And you deserve to come before school. It's okay to not fully invest yourself in everything that you do because you can't. Not without burning out. We've got to pick and choose. And I want you to choose yourself today. So that's what I have to say. That's my teaching PSA for the day.